Hi, this is Fred. In this video, I will demonstrate an ACAP called Presence. It uses the camera's DLPU or machine learning to detect heads in a specific area. So the view that you see here is both the configuration and the validation. It produces two events. One is presence, which is true or false if these filters all apply, and a counter value, how many heads is seen, and this keeps every time there is a transition, this event will fire. So the settings you can do is setting a detection area where you can select where are the heads in order to reduce false detections or areas that is not interesting, so it's an area of interest. You can also, if there are disturbance inside the area of interest, you can also add an ignore area. But for this scene, we don't need an ignore area. You can also set the minimum head size. So if I make it big, you see now there are no heads detected. But let's make it small, and also the maximum if you're having false detections, but we'll set that pretty big. So there are four additional settings. The confidence value, which is very low, very high. So based on what you see here, you may want to adjust this, but I would start with very low. And then there is a transition period for how many seconds a confident head needs to be inside there. So if we add to 5 seconds, or depending on how many seconds that it needs to be confidence. Also, this state, the presence, will time out after 4 seconds. So that is used to, as you see here, that the detections will go on and off, that you want to have a much more stable event. So you can increase the time that this number of heads needs to be present. And also the number of persons for the presence to change. So if in this scene I would set to 3 persons, and we can see they coming in here, that it is going to start detecting a head, but as you see there is still false, and we can wait till the other person enters. So now we have 2 persons, but this presence is still false. But if we go down to 2 persons, it goes to true. So these are events that I can pick up in with MQTT. In this case, I'm using SimQTT. And we can just reset here. So what I have are 2 subscriptions. One listening into the counter values. So every time the counter, there's a transition in the counter, you will get the value. But also another one, which is the state, and where you see now it's false. So these values in the debug output represents these values in here. So in this case, there are many use cases that you could use this. It's easy to make a queue management or some kind of an automation when there are a certain amount of people in the scene. Thank you very much for listening.